Hi, I'm Enos, the Executive Chef at the Oceanair Seafood Room in Boston. Now I'm going to show you how to store whole fish. So the first thing that you want to do when storing whole fish is you want to be able to make it so the fish can actually drip and not sit in a pool of water. So you want to put it inside of a perforated pan, a perforated container like this, where the water can drip through. So you can put ice on top and it'll drip through so the fish will never sit in a pool of water. Then you want to grab your fish, never picking your fish up by the tail. You want to kind of grab your fish like this. You pick it up by the tail, it separates the vertebrae in the back, tears the meat. So what you want to just lay it nice and gently, and then you just surround the fish in shaved ice. I don't use ice cubes, I use shaved ice. It's a lot more delicate on the fish, it's less weight on the fish. A little more even distribution instead of cubes. So you want to just get the ice packed on that fish. So if you're leaving it for one night and then you're going to fabricate the fish the next day, just pack some ice right on top before you go home. Another thing that I do is I put a wet towel over the tail and a wet towel over the head just to keep it moist so the fish doesn't dry out. You want to make sure that the towel's very wet, and then just place it over the tail and the head. What this is going to do is it's just going to keep the air off the fish itself. Kind of keep it a lot more fresh for when you come in the next morning to cut it. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab our cod fillets and we're going to store these. Now what you want to do, storing is the same kind of like the whole fish, is you want to make sure you have a perforated pan so that the moisture in the fish is able to drip through so it doesn't sit in a puddle. So what you're going to do is, again, you want to handle the fish very delicately because this can still tear, is you just want to lay it in, and this you're just storing till you cut it the next day. Okay, so you place it there, but what I do is I just take a little bit of the deli paper or the parchment paper, place it right over the top, put your cover on, label and date it, and store at 30 to 32 degrees. Now that we've done the fresh fish, we're going to move on to the frozen fish. After receiving the frozen fish, you want to move it directly into a container. You want to cover, label and date, store it in the walk-in freezer, 0 degrees or below. General rule of thumb, don't keep any frozen fish over 6 to 9 months. Now that I've showed you how to properly store your frozen fish, I'm going to show you how to properly thaw your frozen fish. What you're going to do is get yourself a sheet pan or a container that can hold the size of the fish that you have. It's very important to have a rack or a drip tray so that the fish, when it loses moisture, doesn't sit in that water. Just take your fish gently, place it on top of the wire rack or the plastic container that you're using. Give yourself about 24 to 36 hours for the fish to properly thaw at a temperature of about 32 to 35 degrees. When thawing seafood, you want to be sure to thaw the seafood slowly. If you rush it, it has a dramatic effect on the flavor, the texture, and the aroma. And remember, once you've thawed your fish, keep it chilled until it's ready to use.